The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Saxon and the Valley, Rush music makers one family. Saxon and the Valley, Rush music makers one family. Saxon and the Valley, Rush music makers one family. Saxon and the Valley, Rush music makers one family.
They're coming! Oh, when I came down out of my town, on to Bay Street with the jumping new plan. Saxon at the rhythm, licking them goatskin drum. The Valley boys on the brass, hitting the rubber bum bum. I'm a bohemian, I'm proud to be one. Saxon and the Valley, music makers one family. 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 If you understand what I'm trying to say, when Junkanoo coming, try and stand in their way. We don't need no police to take you out of the road. The Junkanoo have a force that automatically explodes. We are Bohemians and we proud to be one. Saxon and the Valley, music makers one family. 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 Not that just the Nassau boys, them carrying on so bad. Watch when I mix the Bahamas with the other rest of comrades. These kind of fellas, they'll rush from dawn till dusk. Man, this kind of feeling is called feel the rush. Can you feel it? Can you feel the rush? Man, let's go, man. Can you feel it? I want you to feel it. Somebody, if you feel it, jump up in the ceiling. When you jump on the street, and pick up your feet and move that drum and beat the tom tom. And can you feel? We put on stand. Let's go. Yes, sir. Arawak invaders, swingers, warriors, crusaders. Arawak invaders, swingers, warriors, crusaders. Arawak invaders, swingers, warriors, crusaders. This kind of rhythm bring people in from far. Michael Jordan, Oprah, and many other stars. Just to see Willa Francis do the ching chang dance. Yes, if you look too long, you will fall into a trance.
Good yawning this morning and welcome back to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, your station for fresh news, smart talk all day. It's Thursday, the 26th of June, 2025, and we might as well name yesterday, the 25th of June, 2025, VJ Edgecombe Day. We're going to say congratulations to VJ Edgecombe. He entered the draft after his first year of college. He was he did years? No, 1 year. Yeah, he did 1 year. And he was selected, Mr. Nuri. Morning, Mr. Nuri, how you do? I'm too excited, I got to bring you in. VJ Edgecombe was the third pick in the draft last night.
Just 1 year?
Yeah, in college, yeah. And he was selected by the 76ers.
Yes.
Which is not a bad team.
It's a real team.
They made a good run this year. They were plagued by injuries, but we're hoping that this is a great spot for VJ Edgecombe. Now, I'm hoping that I could bring Mr. Mitchell in with me tomorrow, it's Friday, sports, so we could talk about this, right? Because Mr. Mitchell and I have this conversation going on, examining the tensions between sort of local sports and international sports, and what our local sports program should look for. Are we building athletes to go and participate in other countries' teams, or are we building athletes to represent the Bahamas on the global stage, right?
But with that, I want to at least commend Edgecombe for representing the Bahamas.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And he was a premier athlete on the team.
Yeah.
It was very significant in his contribution. But your debate that you were having with Mr. Mitchell is real. Are we now need to export talent to get our athletes to the next level, or we can homegrow talent to say, well, they're just as good.
Right, and made me think of the Cuban Medical Brigade / U.S. visa restriction policy discourse, right? Cuba develops doctors to provide a national product. Mm-hmm. Those doctors work on behalf of the country. Their contributions, their work is contributing to the broader national.
So you're saying their
platform.
doctor is different, or their program is different. It's a national asset.
Right.
In contrast to someone pursuing their own
going abroad
pursuits.
and pursuing medicine just like all on their own. Because we having this conversation, like we're having the same conversation right now. Cuban doctors and medical staff, they work on behalf of the government to provide a service to other countries in need, right? It's a service that supports a national development, but also enables at the personal level, right? A degree of development that they just can't have in Cuba because of the broader national and regional dynamics. Are we producing teams of athletes to work on behalf of the Bahamas, or are we producing individual athletes that work on behalf of themselves? And then we, on the back end, we just reap whatever, we extract whatever value.
Whatever we get.
Because I was a little uncomfortable yesterday when I saw so many people, I mean, they just came out of the woodwork to congratulate VJ and I don't want to say feign, but to sort of show a proximity to VJ. Like, I know this, but
share within its glory.
right, and share the glory, and almost as if I was a part of this journey to get there. A lot of these people are not necessarily a part of the journey to get there.
And I don't know, or I'm not comfortable or have proximity to his narrative.
Yeah.
In terms of his narrative locally, in terms of Bimini. Was he on a basketball team here? Like he had, like a Grand Bahama, when they have their basketball teams or basketball talent, you know, they have a local journey. So they was on this team and we took them to this level, and he had no other choice but to go abroad and
Right.
develop it. But we were the beginning, the genesis of it.
Now-
was there a genesis story of Edgecombe having a talent here, and some coach was honing into that talent, and they took him so far and said, okay, time for you to go abroad to the next level. But I am responsible for prepping you to go abroad. Is there a genesis story like that for Edgecombe?
I don't know. I can look for one, right, for tomorrow's show.
Or it's all foreign? That he
Right,
went to
but-
school
so-
and they found him there and they developed the talent and then he gone on.
Last night there was a snippet of VJ like in a dressing room, and he was showing I don't know if it's the NBA team or what media team. He was showing them his suit that I think his brother designed.
Okay.
The suit for him, right? And then when he opened up the flaps of the
in the seams.
right, you saw that he had pictures. You saw, okay, remember when DeAndre Ayton was
Had
drafted
flags.
and he had the two flags put
Nigeria,
together?
Jamaica,
and
and the
Bahamas,
Bahamas.
the three flags. VJ had pictures of his family members,
Nice.
pictures of his coaches,
Nice.
pictures from his everyday life.
His journey he had.
Right. And in that, he pointed out, I can say a boy who was a coach, and I got him by looking at the picture that that's a Bahamian boy.
Okay.
And this may have been one of his early coaches, right, while he was in Bimini. We know that he did at least a couple of years of high school abroad, right? And that may be where he continued to develop the talent, but I think there is a number of years here where he was displaying that talent.
Good. Compare and contrast Aiken. How's his brother's name?
Aiken, yeah.
And then Buckets.
Buddy, yeah.
They have Buddy has a 8 Mile Rocks story.
Yeah.
Him running up and down and playing ball there, right? Aiken
Aiden
has a story of Bahamas Academy, just touching the ball at 12, 13 and being taller than everybody and going to that basketball club camp they have there.
Oh,
the famous
man.
one, the international one, who's bring all the basketball
Yeah,
stars.
yeah.
The
Hoop something.
Yeah, it escapes me. Say it again. Jeff Rogers
camp, yeah.
Because you have the Jeff Rogers narrative and Jeff Rogers coaching him and bringing all these stars to talk to him, and then the American story. I'm just not familiar with.
And I think VJ has it as well, right? And I'm going to say this: they're Biminites. That's what you call people from Bimini.
Yeah, Bimini.
They're Bimini people.
Yeah.
This is just critique. We're not.
This get personal quickly though.
Yeah, we're not demeaning any Bimini people at all, because I know that the culture of Bimini is different. Bimini people take care of Bimini people.
Plus, they have Americanish culture too.
Right, with that proximity and the modes of transport, how easy it is it was to move between Bimini and the U.S. Right. So my question is: to what extent did Bimini propel him forward? right? We don't know. We don't know, right? Like, we don't know how much remittance. We don't know how much support, how many care packages. We don't know how many Biminites or Bimini descendants in the U.S. were part of VJ's narrative, right? But I get upset when I see government ministers and
government
actors sort of grasping, trying to clasp at his
Hem of his
fame.
garment.
Right. When they couldn't get the basketball facilities ready in Andros for the Bahama Games, and that changed their inability to prepare the Family Island venues, changed the whole shape of the Bahama Games.
Let me ask you this. Does Bimini have a high school? When I was younger, 94, 95, they left Bimini to come to Nassau or go to the United States for high school because there was no high school. I'm not sure if that has changed as yet. I don't know. I mean,
Right, and so, but man, Mr. Nuria, you may have to join me tomorrow with the conversation, right? Because how much of his fame and success can we claim? How much of the groundwork did we lay? Right, we like to do that. Oh, he's the son of the soil. Oh, I remember him walking barefoot past my. Did you give him shoes?
Did you give him shoes? Did you rack a basketball court, even if it's half court, to say, "But play on that"?
Yeah.
Did you put up that, what do you call it, the milk carton
Right.
on a lamp pole and say, he has his Genesis there and we did that?
Did y'all go to BPL and say, look here, whatever the bill is to keep the lights on in the park in the evening, you send it to us, the community members, and we will make sure that it's paid. We're not relying on local
Is there a
government.
basketball summer camp in Bimini to say, well, all of those people there played, and then he's one of them, and he had talent, and he went off?
I think that's important. Remember yesterday I was reading from the article where David said, oh, go ask Leroy Major what he said, right? And the Prime Minister said there's a fear that, like, he left the reader to infer that Major must not know what he's talking about.
That he's lost.
Because there's a fair and equitable distribution of national resources.
It's clear.
To the backbench, to all the MPs. I don't think that's true.
And we know better.
Yeah. And see, here's the thing. Bonamy, chairman, Beaches and Parks, got up, didn't address the $7 million overrun, and they still weren't tabulating the whole year. I think there was, and that $7 million overrun came before the budget, right? That occurred before the budget. And nobody asking him.
What did you do?
And I got the article. I think I have it in my bag. The residents from across the New Providence are saying, but the parks are in disrepair. They're derelict, right? In particular, the playground equipment, like the little children things, in disrepair.
What did you spend the money on?
Right. What are y'all talking about? A fair and equitable allocation of national resources. Does Bimini, now we have, I think, a history historically we have 9 NBA players.
Okay.
1 from Bimini. What y'all do for Bimini?
Perhaps this could be an impetus now.
Yeah.
Perhaps the government, Ministry of Youth, Sports, and Culture say, you know what? There is talent that we weren't aware of in Bimini. We can make sure they have one good court. Good court, at least.
And I want to say this, it's not just a question of whether backbenchers are equitably involved. It's not a matter of whether it's just family islands being left out, right? Is it that urban or less desirable communities are being ignored? At this point, no one from the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture has made a public statement indicating that they have completed the final stages to the Andre Rogers Baseball Stadium that would enable local players to be, I think, ranked and assessed internationally. Y'all ain't even finished that yet, but you're in the place. I just want to say, it must be 51st birthday by now. Happy 51st birthday, Minister Boleg. Please don't have your 51st birthday party in the Andre Rogers Stadium.
Why not?
No more.
Why not?
Because you haven't completed it. That's why. That's the reason why. Because the thing has not been completed yet. See, the benefit is supposed to be to the athletes. They won't benefit from it until those last stages are completed. Otherwise, you just benefit from it and making tax on it.
This is time I want to say big shout out to Ministry of Youth and Sports for doing their summer hiring program. all kind of Bahamian college students, high school students are able to seek employment. They have an orientation today someplace.
Yeah.
And they're going to be disseminated throughout the Bahamas, some of the police force, some of the University of the Bahamas, some at the Defense Force officers, all over the place. And it was impressive because it's a record number of students. And I would say, okay, at least they spend money on that. There's some of one or two people who can get one job.
Absolutely.
I just want to say the shadow while we critique that.
And I participated in it, So I say, yeah, keep it going. All right, here's a taxi, Mike. Okay.
This your umbrella?
No.
No, just making sure you don't leave things. I can put it back here.
Yeah, I can't.
Make sure Dwight see the umbrella.
I can't afford umbrella.
There's a high-end umbrella, too.
The first question is, where did VJ develop? Did he develop here in the U.S.? Where do our track athletes develop? They don't develop here. I could be mistaken, but I believe he was gone from high school.
Our track athletes are developed here.
He migrated to the U.S. when he was in 9th grade.
Our track athletes are developed here. And let me explain that. We've had, in recent time, we only had one who matriculated early. Little lady from Antonique from SAC name.
Strawn?
Strawn. She left SAC, if I'm not mistaken, at about grade 8, grade 9, and went to high school. But usually people go to Carifta and get their scholarship to go to college and develop their talent. But they have a narrative of running.
Of success. And not just running, but of success running.
Shawnee ran until grade 12, graduated from SAC, and then went abroad. So there is a narrative, a local narrative of being successful here.
Here's another text. Erin, actually, VJ's formative years in Bimini, Gathin Robbins was his coach. He started in Bimini. Eventually, he grew up and moved to the U.S. He was born in the U.S., therefore, it was easier for him to move.
Oh, good for him. Take advantage of the opportunity.
Yeah. Bimini taught him to be tough. His growth wasn't easy. He told his story last night about having no electricity. Using generate. Listen, VJ Edgecombe is too young to be telling this story out loud, and then you all sitting here celebrating. In fact, I got some story.
When you think of no electricity, you think of
pre-1992.
Pre-1992. We didn't know these things happened in the Bahamas still. So it tells a story that either he was exceptionally poor, that everyone had electricity, but they were just not standard, or there's a poverty in Bimini. Which I remember, I have that critique said, Bimini looks like a shanty town. Watch they get mad now.
Yeah.
Right? And said, for the wealth and the money that flows
through Bimini,
it shouldn't be like this.
Yeah.
Right? And I think the government need to invest more in Bimini. It's supposed to be an exotic place where you come in, but everything's structured.
Yeah.
It's not that yet for what it's supposed to represent to the Bahamas. Mm-hmm. But when you tell them that, they get defensive instead of saying, hey, you're right. Let's fix this.
Because if Bimini looks the same way it did in the
1930s. No, when your boy who doing the poetry.
Hemingway
was there.
But you remember
Steam houses.
Silence of the Lambs?
Yes.
That's the last scene in Silence of the Lambs, right? That's Bimini. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's Bimini. That's Bimini. Mm-hmm. If it still look like that.
What's a U.S. congressman who is living there? I forget his name.
Not Powell. No.
Yeah, Powell.
Clayton?
Clayton Powell.
I think so.
Clayton Powell. It's still the same houses, same hotels, lack paint.
Let me finish this text. He told a story last night. VJ's life was the same as Buddy's own. Both grew up not entitled, grew up poor, and worked hard to get where they are today. And once again, we say congratulations, VJ, and to every member of his support system.
Especially his mother.
Bimini always had a high school. Leaving was a choice. They only had a Catholic primary school, so if you want to pursue private or Catholic, if you didn't want to pursue private or Catholic education, you left, I guess. That's what the text said. Okay, anyway.
Wait. I mean, they had when I said not a high school, I would assume that you're saying that they had a public high school, because that's where everyone entitled to. But if you had to go and pursue a private education, you still don't have a high school.
Yeah, and what is it? You know what? I'm going to do some research. How many all-age schools still exist in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas? All right, Mr. Nuri, I wanted to go through the 52nd Independence calendar of events.
Yes. Big things happening, right?
Yeah, but I want to read this article first.
I want to talk about the calendar of events. It's on Independence Day.
Okay, but look here. This article, Pinder says number of criminal prosecutors more than doubled since 2000. Let me just read them out loud. I didn't say it wasn't a good thing.
Okay.
I didn't say that.
I just want to talk about independence, man.
Pinder, 47% of criminal cases tried successfully.
Good.
Okay.
That's almost 50%.
That sounds good, right? No, I mean, that's not good. 50%. 47 is
it used
not
to be
good.
less than that.
it's not good. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecution successfully concluded 47% of its criminal matters between July 2024 and June 2025 through either convictions or plea agreements, according to Attorney General Pinder's 2025-2026 budget contribution. I just want to know whether this headline is misleading or like inaccurate, right? Like factually incorrect, or if this is some poetics. Because you don't try. A plea deal is not a case that's been tried. You're not trying it because you using the plea deal was accepted, right? So I want to know why you say 47% of criminal cases tried successfully, if it goes down to say successfully concluded 47% of its criminal matters, but right, through either convictions or plea agreements. You didn't try the case. You didn't try it all. I mean, I'm not a lawyer. I don't practice criminal law. I don't even pretend to be one on the radio. But what I'm saying is, did you really try the case if a plea deal?
I talk about convictions, man. We get conviction.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I could accept 47% convictions, right, concluded with either plea deal or trial, but don't say you tried plea deals, because that's the opposite. That's what I wanted to touch on.
Some kind of oxymoron.
Yeah, some oxy and some moron in there. Man charged with attacking GB school principal with piece of steel.
Yes, he attacked a woman.
Yeah, this is madness.
And we need to make sure that we know that he attacked a woman.
Yeah, and it's more than that. A 27-year-old Grand Bahama man who reportedly...
young.
Yeah, 27 is young, who reportedly suffers from a brain aneurysm and faces an unrelated rape charge, was granted $6,000 bail after being accused of attacking a school principal. Kenneth Farrington of Freetown appeared before Deputy Chief Magistrate Charlton Smith in the Freeport Magistrates Court charged with assault with a dangerous instrument. It is alleged that on Friday, June 20th, Farrington struck school principal Simone Latoya Butler Cornish in the head with a piece of steel at McLeanstown School. Reporters indicate the incident occurred when Farrington went to collect his nephew's report card. This is not even your child. I mean,
Not
you may
his
be the
child.
guardian, right?
But at least he's concerned to collect the report.
He pleaded not guilty and elected to have the matter heard in the magistrate's court. Police prosecutor Kendra Smith objected to bail, citing the...
Wait, he pleaded what?
Not guilty.
But we know Go ahead.
Police prosecutor Kendra Smith objected to bail, citing the severity of the offense. She also noted that Farrington is currently out on bail for a rape charge set to proceed to the Supreme Court in November and has 2 prior convictions for indecent assault. Farrington's mother pleaded on his behalf, explaining
His mother did what?
pleaded on his behalf, explaining her son suffers from serious health conditions, including a brain aneurysm and recurring seizures.
They say his mother's name?
No.
I just want to know who she is.
No,
You don't think I need to Google her?
no. My thing is, if she had said, my son suffers from serious mental health issues, he has been diagnosed, or I have been desperately trying to get him officially diagnosed, right? Like, I have been trying to get him into the system so the system could officially recognize that this boy has
Special.
a problem.
Needs.
Right, he has needs that his family, and the community cannot provide for him. If she had said that, anyway, we go on.
Does she want to release on the streets?
She said he had previously undergone surgery and is awaiting financial assistance for further treatment in New Providence. Despite the prosecutor's objections, Magistrate Smith granted bail with 1 or 2 sureties. Farrington must also wear an electronic monitoring device and observe a nightly curfew from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. The case was adjourned to August 12, 2025. I know now the case is before the court, so we have to be very careful how we talk about it. But I think I saw a Law and Order episode like that. Okay. Here's another just quick story. Traffic disrupted by overturned cement truck. A cement truck overturned yesterday morning on TW Highway. That's Tony Williams, briefly disrupting traffic near the Eagle Building Yard roundabout. Incident, which occurred shortly before noon, prompted a swift response from police and the Ministry of Public Works. By 12:30 p.m., the truck had been moved into the Eagle Yard and traffic was fully restored by 1:35. It took you all an hour plus to fully restore traffic? No. Y'all need to get fired. It cannot take you all an hour to restore traffic. Officials on the scene said the accident was triggered when a vehicle suddenly stopped ahead of the cement truck, forcing the driver to brake hard. The truck, heavy with its load, tipped over, spilling cement and oil across the roundabout. No injuries were reported, though the driver was taken to hospital as a precaution. Recovery required 2 crane trucks, and the vehicle was uprighted and removed with police and ministry assistance within an hour. A senior highway inspector described the scene as hazardous due to the oil on the road, highlighting the ministry's immediate cleanup to reduce further risk. Okay, see that? Who did the cleanup? The ministry's immediate cleanup. Who's supposed to clean up the road and make sure that it is roadworthy, vehicle-worthy? Like, who is supposed to do that after an accident? Who is supposed to ensure that it's done after an accident? Who's supposed to do that? Was the truck properly outfitted? Did it have a cover for the cement? Was the person who braked, who stopped suddenly, were they cited for obstructing traffic? Right? Was the truck speeding? The Minister of National Security was on Morning Blend the other day talking about how they have all the CCTV camera and they're using it and you can't see them using it. No, I can't see you using it. Did you use it in this instance? See, because if it took you an hour to clear the road from 12:30 to 1:35, but the incident happened shortly before 12, that's more than an hour in obstructed and disrupted traffic. Were people compensated for the loss? And who is responsible? Anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there, Mr. Nuri. So, those are some of the articles in the paper today. I want to talk about plea deals as well, but I think I want a little bit more time to do some research. I guess the Independence Secretariat has released the 52nd Independence Calendar of Events, Mr. Nuri. Mm-hmm. I wanted to go through it out loud, let people know what's happening. And I got some critique, but before we go there, let's go to the phone line. Good morning, caller.
Hey.
Hey, good morning.
How y'all doing?
Good.
This the topic here. What Nuri want to talk about it?
Yeah.
Hey, Nuri, you waiting patiently.
Yeah, quiet.
Nuri.
Go ahead,
So
man.
listen, the first question, before you could even talk about it, Nuri, Miss Greene did ask the question from last year, that's 3 years ago on the 50th anniversary, how they spent our money.
Mm-hmm.
Did they ever explain that?
No.
How much it was?
No.
I said to Miss Greene, stop asking, because you ain't never know.
What you mean stop asking these people coming back to us having a rally talking, but they want us to vote for them again?
Yeah.
They have a duty. The rallies almost sound like the rallies I used to be listening to online in Jamaica with all this horn blowing. So, you could hardly hear what the person having to say. Mm-hmm. I hear Mr. Fred Mitchell talk about a few more months ago before he close the eye or go to sleep or something.
Yeah.
Man, we need to we need to make sure Fred Mitchell don't understand it ain't much miles as he think it is. Although he politically savvy and smart. Them miles almost finished, Mr. Mitchell. And we're going to send you home again like we did before. To close your eyes or to go to sleep. You sound like you're sleepy. You say you're tired, eh? No, he ain't say he's tired, but he says it's a couple more miles before he can close his eyes. Then this thing in Freeport, right? I hear the mother. And we don't know what the mother's tender care is and how far let us go, why they do what they do, and how embarrassing it is to look and all that in spite of whatsoever. I guess that's their child, right? Mm-hmm. But when you say the mother, I was wondering who was the lawyer for this young man. I mean, a teacher, female dread. I mean, what make you think you could hit her in the head? Would she look masculine like a man? Even if she'd have looked that man, that's a female. That's authority. You can't do that even if that was a male. To go that far and to hit the female in the head with an iron, then your mommy could stand up in court and ask the judge to be lenient on you. My question would have been, Mom, did he ever hit you in your head with an iron? Did he ever do this thing to you? Or I'll tell the prosecutor to check the proof to see if he was ever charged with being rude to his mommy. Because it sounds like she know more than what we know, and she might could tell us how to deal with this. Would Prayer to say this, Miss Greene or something?
Yeah, that's the word he
Why
uses,
we
Miss
ain't saying nothing
Greene.
about this VJ congratulations? Like somebody say, you may say, well, it ain't appropriate, but it takes two to make a baby. Even if they don't do it, if you use the machine and you don't do it, to physical thing. Who is VJ Daddy? He in Bimini. He should be here in the Bahamas. It make you think, all kind of, someone see a politician, sonny. Y'all keep up the good work, man.
He's the son of Bimini. And I know every father in Bimini claim VJ, man.
Yes.
Every man in the Bahamas, if VJ say he need a daddy, he got one event to go to, he need a daddy, every man in the Bahamas would volunteer, put on their coat suit or their linen suit, shine up their shoe and get ready to go. Boy, Mr. Nuri, I was just, caller coming to you right now. The young lady who was recently on a wanted persons flyer, Amir, I think is the first name. I want to stick a pin right there. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Erin. Good morning, my brother. I hope you all are doing well this morning.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, CA. Two things I just want to drop here. One is, things of this world is of this world. We came in the world with nothing, and we surely will leave with nothing. The future of politics in this country, and I just want to close on this note, the future of politics in this country, in its current trajectory, is not good for this country. We've seen over past administrations, we had hoped that this country would have really propelled a lot further than where we are in prosperity, and that's not happening. We're spending and borrowing all kinds of monies that our children will have to now pay back, and yet today we are not benefiting positively from the amounts of monies that have been borrowed, the amounts of monies that have been spent, and we're still here in this country suffering. 160,000 out of 400,000 of us. I mean, when are we going to ask better from our politicians who present themselves? Okay? That's all I'm going to say for now. I'll come back a little later on during the show. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Nuri, I found one article, but it's a video article. I know I saw this in print yesterday. Woman charged with murder accuses police of violating her rights.
That was sad.
Yeah, she alleges that there were no female officers on duty.
That's small things, but I understand.
No, it's not small things. That's a big procedural issue.
I understand.
Right? That's a big.
Yeah.
No, that's a big deal.
In fact, I thought she was a man, but anyway, that's a different issue altogether.
That's the issue right there. Oh my goodness!
I thought she was a man. I said that woman could take any blows. I thought she was talking about she get a couple Texas and cowboys while she's going down to get processed.
I'm trying to read
which I expected her to get at least one tap.
I'm trying to find the.
You don't expect her to get one tap going down?
The printed article. No, listen.
She killed a police officer. She's supposed to get
No,
twice.
pause. No, stop. No. That's not. No. The wanted poster made it clear that this young lady was not wanted in relation to the Williams killing.
What is it related to?
They say a homicide. They say murder. I can say a homicide that occurred before the Lernex Williams shooting.
That is the same lady?
That's not. She is not one of the female perpetrators that the police were looking for. The wanted flyer from the RBPF I saw, the statement indicated that she was not wanted in connection to the Lernex Williams case.
Okay.
Even so, you're not supposed to hit suspects.
Not at all?
No. See, that's why.
I thought you're not supposed to hit them hard, that you could see a wound. You're mixing me up.
You're not supposed to hit them at all. There's supposed to be no extrajudicial punishment applied. In fact, the person is presumed innocent until proven guilty.
You're advocates always messing things up.
It ain't me. It's the person that actually breaches the law and causes the Treasury to lose millions of dollars. That's the person who's messing things up. Unfortunately.
That's because they leave a scar. You're supposed to leave no marking. But 2 slaps is appropriate.
No.
No?
No.
No. We just different.
That's called extrajudicial.
I can slap one. I'm just going to say. I just different.
Anyway.
Let's agree to disagree so we can move on.
I mean, we could agree to disagree on this matter.
I see no reason why not to slap her once.
But in this instance, if you have female suspects, you must have female officers on duty.
To do the slapping.
If the allegation is that if the allegation
Someone got to do the slapping. I don't understand this, man. Continue, man. Be different.
If the allegation is true that the officers uttered what they uttered, that's even worse.
What was the allegation?
She alleges that they said, you won't be mine.
See, I tell you, I thought you was a boy.
No, no. They didn't say, I thought you were a boy. They did that because that's slightly different.
Okay.
That's like you can play the fool. And I look at the file. I done write down Mr. Amir.
Yeah.
I done tick M. I seriously thought this was a boy. No, that's not what happened. This what was said suggested we know that you're a female, but since you won't pretend like you's a male,
Gotta get my licks.
the Treasury can't take it.
After the man licks, you will understand us Bahamians, you know. Depending upon what she was charged for, we are easy with paying out the money.
No, we're not easy with paying out the money.
No, man. Sometimes we gotta elect them once or twice.
No, we're
Just
not
pay out the
easy with paying out the money. Let's go to the phone line. Good morning, caller.
money. Go ahead, caller. We can hear you now.
Yes, how you doing, Nuri and Miss Greene, Allen Johnson?
Good morning.
Just let me bring this statement back up again. It says that you cannot manage what you cannot measure, and you can't measure what you refuse to acknowledge. And I use also an expression to say, when you plot a trip, you must know where you are and know where you're going. Call a travel agent, tell them you want to go someplace, you want to leave New Providence, then they say, where you want to go? Say, I don't know. Call another travel agent and say, this time, I want to go to New York. And they say, where you want to leave from? Say, I don't know. And the point of those is that, it's important to have a perspective of what you were trying to achieve. And I heard you talking about spots. Just use an example. The current budget spoke of island to island, which is an old saying from 2021, which is part of the blueprint for change. And we did not see for almost 4 years any activity towards that. And that's developing a master plan. And so I would say that you talk about the lack in development of these major things. And a good example of that is there's a concept of funding for government. There's a concept of funding for the humans who have access to global capital. We touch around the edge of it with the initial DARE bill, and we then came and brushed around the edges, but we never developed the bill for us. We see Donald Trump, they talk about he making billions from his meme coin. And a meme coin is kind of like a joke. But if you look at a concept even called tokenization, I spoke about this about 5-6 years ago. It was a multi-million-dollar industry. Today, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's estimated by 2030, it'll be a multi-trillion-dollar industry, touching as high as $30 trillion. And people like BlackRock and other people have went into this full time. The point I make is that if you understand the opportunity that we as a country have and the resources we have, and a good example, and I would take any intelligent judge on this, sitting in the Ministry of Tourism is a few $billion of data. And you had government pass a law about it, and we have not gotten a single dollar from it because they did not understand what they were searching for. It was something I discussed with Obadiah Wilshcombe and others for a number of years. And the point of this is that we need basketball courts, we need roads paved, we need infrastructural improvement across the country, even though governments have never told us, island by island, home by home, whatever, door by door, person by person, community by community, what is it we need to have done, is because we get to hide these things and we get to pronounce that we're going to have a balanced budget, even though we have an educational plantation that's falling apart, government billions that needs to be brought into the 21st century, all of these different things. And so when you talk about sports, it is a tool, but it's a powerful tool that we can have individuals prepare us to utilize. And I could tell you one of my twin son and another one of mine went to university on scholarships. And it's there, but we need an organized, national-centered development regime that recognizes where we are and the lack we are and the strategy to get us from where we are to where we need to be. And so we need, I'm not going to keep long. I repeat, January 1st of 2026, December 31st of 2026 will mark the end of 25 years, the first 25 years of the 21st century. And we are struggling with 20th century mentality and thinking.
Yes, yeah.
Leadership be lacking in the Bahamas to solve these little minor issues for a population that is smaller than some corporate entities around the world.
Absolutely.
And unless we rethink this tribalistic thing where we say, who can bring together the best of us the best of us to bring out the best in us, we will repeat this cycle again and again. And here's what I end with. If people there knew what to do, have not done it, I can't even tell you my opinion of that.
Yes,
and
sir.
so I simply say those we've had did not know what to do. Let's begin to choose people that actually does. Thank you.
Thank you. 25 years into the 21st century, and Family Island communities are in a pre-1992 state. That's a signal of failure. It's a signal of failure. I know Eleuthera people never thought they'd be in a pre-1992 state. Here's some text before we transition. The young man has been wearing a bracelet since we issued them. He has a number of charges against them. This was said in the news. Somebody said, did the judge really give bail to the man who licked the teacher with a piece of iron? Here's a text. She's known on the street. She's a suspect in the Cordo Avenue shooting. She also threatened a security guard at a nightclub to bring back her boys. She flashes a lot of money. I'm not saying that she's not known to the police, you know. The point, and I know you know that, Texter. I'm not critiquing you. I just want to reiterate the point that I'm making is that beating suspects is not normal. It's extrajudicial. It's against the law. And you are going to erode the psyche of your own country if the people who are supposed to be upholding the law are continually breaking it. There are officers who don't stop at stop signs or red lights or wear seatbelts or drive using their cell phone. Officers, Royal Bahamas Police Force. If people continue to watch those who are obligated to enforce the law break it with no consequence, we're going to be creating sociopaths and psychopaths. Okay. One more headline, Mr. Nuri. Magistrate asked to toss officer's drug case.
Who asked him to toss it?
I don't know. I'm not sure. A lawyer for an embattled high-ranking officer accused of assisting two drug traffickers on Wednesday urged the magistrate to end his case. Bjorn Ferguson made a no-case submission on behalf of assistant...
Hold on again. Who made the no submission? Who's the lawyer again?
Bjorn Ferguson made a no-case submission on behalf of Assistant Superintendent Sonny Miller before Senior Magistrate Shaka Seville. Miller faces charges of drug possession with intent to supply, conspiracy to possess drugs with intent to supply, drug importation, and abetment to import dangerous drugs. The charges concern a June 9, 2022 seizure of 181 pounds of cocaine valued at $1.4 million and 31 pounds of marijuana worth $34,000. Ferguson charged that the prosecution sought to rely on convicted criminals whose testimony was, quote, self-serving and unreliable, close quotes, to prove their case. Colombians Christian Aristizabal and Christian Aragon pleaded guilty to drug trafficking in 2023 and were sentenced to 60 months in prison. Under the term of the plea, because I guess it maybe is a plea deal, under the term of the plea, their sentence was cut by 14 months in exchange for their testimony against Miller. But Ferguson said that this testimony was riddled with lies and should not be relied upon. Both men alleged that after landing a drug-laden plane in the wee hours of the morning, a tall man with a big belly arrived in a police jeep. This man allegedly helped them to offload their illicit cargo. They claimed the man later pulled a gun on them and fired shots at them and placed them under arrest. Ferguson noted that there was no evidence of any spent casings indicating that Miller had fired his weapon. He said there was no evidence that Miller was involved or assisted the convicts. By contrast, the prosecutor, Terry Archer, argued there was sufficient evidence to require Miller to present a defense to the charges. Seville will give his decision next month. Let's go to the...
So this is a police officer being accused of something?
Yeah.
And his lawyer is Bjorn Ferguson?
Bjorn Ferguson, yeah.
And then he's saying that the charges needs to be dismissed.
Yeah, no case submission.
Okay, just making sure I know who all involved.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Ms. Greene. Good morning, Mr. Newey.
Morning.
I don't even want to comment on that foolishness you read just now. I wanted you to see if you could look into this for me as it relates to the confiscation or the allowance of cell phones within the hospital. Like if a patient is confined to A&E or in the hospital, is there any protocol in place? And if so, why is there a reluctance to let people have their cell phones in the hospital? I'm hoping that GNN can hear me. You know, I was in the hospital a few times back in the, years ago. Mm-hmm. And so there's never a problem. So if it does become a problem, the question is why? And so we need to look into that. Otherwise, it's just scientific dictatorship, medical tyranny. But I'd just like to make a quick comment on the Sonny Miller case, right, Ms. Greene?
Okay, quick.
And this appeared in the papers. It was said that when the Coast Guard swooped in, he was seen doing what he was alleged to be doing. I don't know, can we have a testimony of someone from the Coast Guard? We don't. So, I mean, can the police ever do anything wrong, Ms. Greene?
Now, listen, let's be careful. Hold on, 52. Let's be careful. Let's be careful. The case still before the court. I just realized that this thing's still before the court. Let's be careful. Let's go to the next caller. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Madam Greene.
Yes.
Man, do you know, and good morning, C.A. Neary.
Hey, man, good morning.
Yeah, the OK52. I can answer your question for you right now, the nation question. But Greene, I get a new phone, so I need you to text me. Number 8.
Okay.
Okay, text me a number again. Yes, 52. I've been doing some research on that now for several months with the new administrator. Okay, the only thing the Haymans cannot do with their cell phones with camera is violate in the hospital if a patient is being serviced. You can take your phones into the hospital, but you have to be extremely selective what you take. If an incident is going down and you have your phone, and because it is a public hospital, phones are allowed legally in any public space. You can take a picture of a police officer doing his job as long as you're not infringing on him carrying out his duties. That is legal. That is allowed. I
think one of the only restrictions is where the phone or use of the phone may interfere with the equipment in the space that you're in.
Well, that too. Yeah, that's why PHA have kind of stipulations. But it's not that you can't carry your phone in there. They can't stop you. That's your personal device. And you cannot take nobody during their treatment.
Yeah, you can't document other people's medical service.
Yeah, you cannot document something happening to somebody else, like a patient or something, without their consent and stuff like that. That's about it. But anywhere else in the country, you have to use your cell phone. That is legal and lawful.
Thank you very much. I want to say I think that's true because the PHA staff he thought I was going to take a picture of their name badge. That's why they turned them over so I couldn't see their name. I believe you're right. They couldn't stop me from using my phone. Okay, Mr. Newey, we're going to move right into not just the 52nd Independence calendar of events, but I have a list of international days of recognition from the 23rd of June to the 30th of June. Did you know that the 23rd of June was United Nations Public Service Day? United Nations Public Service Day and Awards. This Public Service Day intends to celebrate the value and virtue of public service to the community, highlight the contribution of public service in the development process, recognize the work of public servants, and encourage young people to pursue careers in the public sector. Since the first award ceremony in 2003, the United Nations has received an increasing number of submissions from all around the world. The United Nations Public Service Awards is the most prestigious international recognition of excellence in public service. It rewards the creative achievements and contributions of public service institutions that lead to a more effective and responsive public administration in countries worldwide. What night was the rally, Mr. Newey? The link up, that was Monday night?
Yeah.
That was the 23rd?
Monday or Tuesday, Monday.
Because I think the story was in the paper on Tuesday.
Monday.
You could imagine that the Prime Minister threatened, said words that to many public servants felt like a threat on United Nations Public Service Day. I'm just saying. Yeah. Anyway, there are a number of other days. The 24th is the International Day of Women in Diplomacy. 25th of June is Day of the Seafarer. Producer, at some point we can play as a boatman. I just need an excuse to play it. 26th is International Day, today is the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. Today is also the International Day in support of victims of torture. Tomorrow is International Day of Deaf Blindness. Also Micro, Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises Day, Mark Turnquest. And then Popper. International Day of the Tropics is on the 29th. International Asteroid Day is on the 30th. And International Day of Parliamentarism is the 30th of June. That's next Monday. We're going to a break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Upward together, boasting our rich culture, inspiring our young and old. With perseverance, we could win gold.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.